Choose to believe in. Guess the truth kinda lost all meaning, and I'm enjoying the view. Well, I've been a loving lover, I've been a trusting brother. I'm taking my time to recover and picking it up when I'm better. Oh, there's so much to see in a lifetime, so why does it feel like it flies by? She's staring me down with the bright eyes, but really we having a good time.
Coming when you hold me. There's a place I go, it's a different high. Oh no, when you touch me, I get vulnerable in a different light. Oh no, are you just cynical to believe in a miracle? Let you step through my hands, but could you take a chance on me? Can you forgive it all to believe in a miracle? Yeah, I thought you could help, but I'm asking you to believe in a miracle.
to the party, so everybody might look upon me. Show them something better than I might be. Force feed a narrative, sell them what they wanna see. Wait, maybe that's the way I put the walls up. No one ever gets to get a close up. That's the way illusions get lost. Life's gonna breathe so long as I can breathe.
filled with.
Isolation is a terrible call. Seems like this meeting's real subject is the state of the war. I'm not the adversary, architect designing the fall. But I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Worst of all, you think I mean to. I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Worst of all, you think I mean to. I can't really say I'm following the thread of the spat. You do not know me if you think I try to wound you like that. Maybe it's time to draw a line between advice and attack. Though when our boundaries don't align, how could we know where we're at? Cause there were times where I was made to reperceive how I act. Moments that made me check my habits and I'm thankful for that. I'd aim to help you do the same like only close friends can. And if you're feeling lonely, homie, know I'm here for you now. But I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Worst of all, you think I mean to. I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Worst of all, tonight, only you and I, and the feeling goes on and on and on, and the feeling goes on and on and on, and the feeling goes on and on and on. Come away tonight, only you and I, and the feeling goes on and on and on, and the feeling goes and on and on, and the feeling goes on and on and on. Come away tonight, only you and I, and the feeling goes on and on and on, and the feeling goes on and on and on, and the feeling goes on and on and on. Come away tonight, only you and I, and the feeling goes on and on and on, and the feeling goes on.
Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, the party don't stop. No, oh, 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 oh. All the things you say, just to get my head. Shake it all the way, push your tongue right. Hold me all the way, all that you say. Well, I'll be free.
How I try like that. How I try like that. When I popped off, then you go gave me just a little bit of la chop. Baby, so cold, he from the north, he from the Canada. Bankroll so low, I got nothing else that I can withdraw. Grab up the dough, I shot my wrist, it gon' sha sha sha, sha sha sha. I got your bitch singing la 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 la, la la la. I shot my wrist, it gon' sha sha sha, sha sha sha. I got your bitch singing la 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 la, la la la.
Say that you love me, no. I feel so empty when you're near. I think it's time that we both let go. Your intentions will become clear.